This video is about how to graph a piecewise function. This particular function comes to us in two pieces. And so its domain, if we look at it, the domain of this function is all real numbers because there's no place that an x value is not defined. Because for values of x that are greater than or equal to negative 2, it's defined as negative x squared plus 2, this parabola. And for values of x to the left of negative 2, is defined as this line, negative 2/3 x plus 1. So if we think about this, the top piece of this function is f of x is negative x squared plus 2. So let's consider what's happening here. This is our basic graph x squared, which is a parabola facing up. However, it's got a negative in front of the x squared, which is a reflection, and it reflects across the x-axis. So we see here that we have a reflection across the x-axis right here with this negative, and then this plus 2, which is tacked on to the end of our function, indicates a vertical shift, which is what it's supposed to be, and that means that this parabola is shifted down across the x-axis, it's reflected across the x-axis, and then shifted up 2 places. That's what that's going to look like. If we think about the second piece, f of x is negative 2/3 x plus 1. This is a line, y equals mx plus b. You can consider that. The slope of this line is negative 2/3, and the y-intercept is 1. So negative 2/3 is our slope, and 0, 1 is the y-intercept when we get to that part. When I graph piecewise functions, I usually graph in pencil because sometimes I have to erase off parts that landed in the wrong place, or I just make mistakes, so I want to be careful about that. All right, so let's start. The top piece is negative x squared plus 2. So when you're first learning how to do piecewise functions, it's not a bad idea just to get the graph on there and erase off the parts where it doesn't belong. So I'm just going to graph this just to start. Negative x squared plus 2 is x squared. If we consider that, it's going to be this, right? This is kind of an x squared. Well, that's a terrible graph. This is x squared, basically. But it's going to be reflected across the x and up 2. So that means it's going to be reflected across the x, but then it's shifted up 2. So this is the vertex of this, and it's going to be a graph that kind of looks like this. That is what negative x squared plus 2 looks like. But this is only for values of x that are greater than or equal to negative 2. So this is negative 1, and this is negative 2. And so I'm going to be a little bit careful here. I'm going to go ahead and plug in negative 2 into this function. So negative 2 squared is 4. Negative 4 plus 2 is a negative 2. So at this point, I'm going to be all the way down here at this value. So let me do a better job of graphing it. It starts right here. And then it starts right here and it comes up to here, and so it's a symmetric curve. So that means at positive 2, it'll be down here. So that's not bad. This will be here. So basically, I'm just trying to do a better graph of this. This is going to hit here, and then this is going to hit here, and keep going. And so this is the graph for all of the values of x that are greater than negative 2. So that's that whole piece. The rest of this line is going to be what we graph to the left of negative 2. So that's going to be over in this region right here. Just to get the line on there, I go to my y-intercept, 0, 1. That's this point right here. I'm going to read my slope, which says go down, down to right 3. Or you could say I'm going to go up to left 3. That's how you could interpret your slope. I'm going to do that direction. And I'm going to start graphing this line. Let's see, I said my y-intercept is 1, up to left 3. This is this point. This is this point. Let's draw a line through there. Okay. Right. So let's draw a line through there. Okay. So there is that line. Now, where does this belong? That's the question. This belongs for values of x that are to the left of negative 2. So I go here to negative 2. I go up to where this line meets, and I know that at that point I have an open circle because it's not defined there, and I know it only belongs for values that are to the left of that. That means I'm going to erase off the rest of this line, and so this is what this particular piecewise function should look like.